Uh, Ma'am, Neeta ma'am, are you available?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. So we are going to start our session. So good morning, one and all. I'm Dr. Shruti Bhargava Chaube, Organizing Secretary of Innovation, Design, Thinking and Entrepreneurship, Atmanirbhar workshop, 1 week workshop. So today we have our esteemed speaker, Dr. Neeta Sharma with us. Now I'm going to introduce her. She is a seasoned professional with a doctorate in English literature. Dr. Neeta Sharma has been associated with academics for last 20 years. She has a rich and dynamic skill set in academics, ranging from authoring books, delivering expert lectures on motivation, team building, personality development, communication skills, stress management, and research methodologies in various government and non-government organizations. She is frequently induced in taking lectures on motivation and team building in the induction training program of the trainers organized by MAP IT of Madhya Pradesh government. She is an entrepreneur, managing director of Ornate Industries with a tenure of more crores, and former professor and head of Science and Humanities Department, Technocrat Institute of Technology, Bhopal. And I'm very happy that you are here with us, ma'am. I
I'm
request.
also very happy to be a part of your workshop, Shruti.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request you to please start your session. And for queries after the session is till 10:50. For last 10 minutes, we'll switch on. We will on the chat box so that participant can ask their queries. I request all the participants that end at 9:50. Please switch on your videos so that we can take 10:50. Please switch on your video so that we can take the screenshot, a group screenshot. It is really a good memory for us.
Construction outside casing. This is the stator.
I request all to please mute
They all are mounted on the one shaft. So it's a preview will be taken in this form. This.
Yeah, Neeta ma'am, can you please unmute yourself?
Okay.
Okay, now. At 10:50, we will start our query session. It is for 10 minutes. You can write your query in chat box and madam will answer. So now I request ma'am to please start the session. All yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you for giving this opportunity. You being a good friend and a former colleague, I'm really pleased and honored to be there. Thank you so much. Well, if it can be thought, it can be done. A problem can be overcome. A very pleasant morning to all the intellectuals and the scholars present online. The topic which I'll be dealing is entrepreneurship post-COVID-19. Now, this COVID-19 is actually creating havoc in our life. I would be sharing a presentation with you people. Entrepreneurship post-COVID-19. Now, the post-COVID-19, the COVID-19 has taken the whole world into its grip. It becomes very, very important to deal with this topic because it's one of the major, relevant, and the apt topic in the present time. With the presentation, I will be dealing with introduction, COVID-19 entrepreneurship in the current time, survival COVID-19, building up after COVID-19, and then the conclusion. Now, I will proceed with my topic in the following manner. The points which are displayed on the screen. Firstly, I would like to introduce the topic in entrepreneurship COVID-19, beginning with the subject. I would like to explain entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, the problems which are being faced by the entrepreneurs in this era and after the COVID-19. not only for the survival, but for the bouncing back in the progressive manner. Entrepreneurs need a setup plan. As such, the building after COVID-19 is important. And of course, I will proceed towards the end with the suggestions and the conclusion. The COVID-19 pandemic has toppled the global economy. As countries scurry to fight the unprecedented outbreak with complete lockdowns, businesses have been stalled, global trade has been thwarted, and supply chains have been disrupted. The world finds itself in the most unusual of circumstances. A few months ago, the economy was slowing down all over the globe, but India was a little better off. There was a hope that we could see it through. Then the COVID-19 happened and decides the fate of our life and of our business. We are not talking of market conditions anymore. As the COVID-19 pandemic is spreading around the globe, entrepreneurs, their ventures, and societies are facing unprecedented challenges. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the ability and the readiness to develop, organize, and run a business enterprise along with any of its uncertainties in order to make profit. The most prominent example of entrepreneurship is the starting of new businesses and financial institutions. Who is an entrepreneur? The entrepreneur is defined as someone who has the ability to desire, to establish, administer, and succeed in a startup venture along with the risk entitled to it to make profits. The best example of entrepreneurship is starting of a new business venture. The entrepreneurs are often known as a source of new ideas or innovator and bring new ideas in the market by replacing the old one with a new invention. In a nutshell, anyone who has the traits of being anyone who has the will and determination to start a new company and deals with all the risk entitled can become an entrepreneur. Not all entrepreneurs are successful. There are definite characteristics that makes entrepreneurs successful. They are as seen on the slide. Please pay attention to the characteristics of the entrepreneur which are shown on the slide. The first and foremost being the passion. Passion is the most important trait of successful entrepreneur. They genuinely love their work. They are willing to put in those extra hours to make the business succeed because there is a joy their business gives which goes beyond the money. It's not only for the money that entrepreneur works so hard. A successful entrepreneur will always be reading and researching ways to make the business better. The second most important quality of an entrepreneur is self-discipline. If an entrepreneur is able to accomplish essential tasks, then he will be able to achieve higher success. Self-discipline basically means to master the inner self and inner emotions to generate a sense of responsibility of getting the job done, which fosters self-direction. Risk-taking ability. Entrepreneurship is all about taking risks. Entrepreneurs have the ability to take greater risks to achieve greater success, but not all risk takers are successful entrepreneurs. A successful entrepreneur knows when to take risks, and risks will be beneficial or harmful to the company or to himself. All entrepreneurs plan before taking risks and make a plan B, a plan C also, in case of any loss or mishap, and establish a suitable ground for the results of the risks. Entrepreneur needs to have creative thinking. Now, thinking out of the box only makes an entrepreneur. Persistence is the most basic essential quality of a successful entrepreneur because even good entrepreneurs experience failures and hurdles. But with persistence, entrepreneurs able to pick themselves up and keep moving towards the goal. Ambitious and have leadership quality, a very must quality required to be there in an entrepreneur. To be successful, the entrepreneur should have a clear aim of his new venture. However, to turn the idea into reality, a lot of resources and employees are required. Here, leadership quality is paramount because a leader imparts and guides their employees towards the right path of success. Adaptable, hardworking, humble, these are all the qualities which are required to be a successful entrepreneur. For being the humble as the quality, it is usually the behavior which can make or break the prospects for an entrepreneur. As in every profession, humility is an important trait an entrepreneur should possess. Being humble takes one ahead in the long run in their personal as well as professional lives. In entrepreneurship, humility takes a greater role. Being humble about your work, you always leave room for improvement. Importance of entrepreneurship in a country's economy. Now, entrepreneurs plays a very important and major role in the country's economy. The entrepreneurs, they create employment. Creation of employment is done by the entrepreneurships. When entrepreneurship generates employment, it provides an entry-level job required for gaining experience and training for unskilled work. Impact on the society and community development. A society becomes greater if the employment base is large and diversified. It changes society and promotes facilities like higher expenditure on education, better sanitation, fewer slums, a high level of home ownership. Therefore, entrepreneurship assists the organization in a more stable and high quality of community life. Entrepreneurs are basically the hub of innovation that provides new product ventures, market, technology, and quality of goods, and increase the standard of living of the people. Increase in the standard of living of people, of course, as they earn more, they have a better paying and buying capacity. The standard of living means increase in the number of consumption of various goods and services of a household for a particular period of time. Entrepreneurship supports research and development. New products and services need to be researched and tested before launching in the market. Therefore, an entrepreneur also dispenses finance for research and development with research institutes and universities. This promotes research, general construction, and development in the economy. Now, this is a sorry state. Sorry, we are closed due to COVID-19. It has become challenging for most businesses to keep their financial wheels turning down the lockdown period due to less revenue churn and the general uncertainty in the global financial environment. The ripple effect of this shutdown will have a key impact of India's economy as all business sectors get affected, resulting in low revenue generation. This is the time when understanding the gravity of the situation and turning it favorable for business and all that matters to let it sail smoothly in these difficult times. Our current situation is deeply unsettling. Now, the problems which we people are facing due to COVID-19, major is national lockdown. The complete lockdown as declared by the PM Narendra Modi ji resulted in the total standstill of every financial activity in the country. All business and the financial activities have freezed down, which is resulting in the scarcity of the resources. Due to the complete lockdown, all the resources have become scarce. No raw material, no basic amenities, and no flow of money. Dearth of labor. The laborers have suffered the extreme. They are living in a different place and belong to another. Scarcity of food and basic living made their life miserable. The insecurities of the future and the bleak scenario of the present made this situation pathetic. Entrepreneurs could not help them to stay back as they themselves were not sure about the situation. The migration of laborers had become the saddest part of COVID-19. Frequently changing in the legislation, the instruction, the laws which have been frequently changes, the lockdown decisions followed by many other contradictory decisions, or the changes in the decisions have created restlessness, insecurity, and anxiety among the entrepreneurs. One of the major crises, major problem which was faced was the non-availability of cash. Entrepreneurs normally conduct business on credit basis, and due to the sudden lockdown, they could not manage the cash, resulted in the difficult life during the close down. All this has created a stress on the health. This COVID-19 lockdown has taken a biggest toll on the health of the citizens, the public, the people living in the country. Due to lockdown, people are confined to their houses and premises, which resulted in having health issues, physical as well as mental stress. Unusual sleeping hours and irregular eating habits have played havoc with the mental as well as the physical health of the entrepreneurs. Now, here the characteristics which I talked in the beginning, that an entrepreneur should be self-discipline, matters a lot in this part. The repercussions due to the problems faced by COVID-19. One of the major repercussions is the big blow to the industry. The industries came to a standstill. Only those industries which had the possibility of working from home could easily sail through the COVID-19. Otherwise, all other industries faced lockdown, resulting in zero business. Businesses are shut, no financial activities are done. All the businesses were shut down due to the lockdown. Health issues. Due to lockdown, everybody was confined to their houses. No movement, no fresh air resulted in many health issues. Unemployment, total shutdown resulted in the unemployment in almost every sector. Many of the organizations were not sure of the future scenario and could not continue with the staff they had. Many people lost their jobs, many lost their salaries, many were paid some part of the salaries, and it was a total scary state. Insecurity, there was a rise in the insecurities related to business and health. The future looked bleak. Stressful social relations. Now, this on the social aspect, this lockdown created distance among the people because social distancing was required and it was must to combat COVID-19. There was no movement whatsoever was allowed. The fear of coronavirus made people to avoid physical interaction with their neighbors and their friends and the people in the society. When fishermen cannot go to the sea, they mend their nets. These are fishing days, and there are days where there's no point even putting the boat in the water. But that doesn't mean progress cannot be made on those days when you can't fish. Time to focus on net mending for a bit. During the pandemic, you cannot do what you have been doing. This quote reaffirms that there's always something you can be doing, even when it's not what you may consider to be your main job. There are plenty of tasks related and essential to the success of your main job. Look for those jobs and do it. Just check. At present, we are mending our nets. In its simplest terms, the proverb reminds us that there will be times in our lives when we may not be able to do things we have always done. That doesn't, however, mean that we should simply sit around feeling sad or feeling idle. This is the time in history that is unusual for sure, but let's make sure that when we power back up, we have made not just the best of the situation, that the most of the situation. Survival during COVID-19. Now, to survive during COVID-19, we must communicate transparently to the customers. Entrepreneurs, they need to have full faith of the customers so that once this transaction, this period is over, they will have the customers on their side. No entrepreneur wants to miss out on their customers. So transparently dealing with the customers is one of the best method to survive during the COVID-19. Maintaining healthy relations with the customers. In fact, maintaining transparency and healthy relation with the customers becomes must to survive during this period. Managing employees effectively. Now, for entrepreneur, their employees are their asset. If these employees during the lockdown may think of some other thing or may think of some other venture, it will be a loss to the entrepreneurs. So managing them very effectively, making them feel that they are the part of the organization is must for the entrepreneurs. Keep your team engaged. Now, keep your team engaged in the manner that they are productive towards the enterprise in which they have been employed. So entrepreneur needs to make their team engaged for future prospects of the enterprise. Use this time to upgrade your skills. Entrepreneurs, of course, they are always short of time. This COVID-19 has been a blessing in disguise. During this lockdown, they can work on the skills, they can gain the training, the knowledge which they have been missing out, and upgrade themselves. Use technology to its fullest. Now, business people, entrepreneurs are not very tech savvy. They may hire people to do all the technological work, but they themselves are not very tech savvy. So it becomes very necessary at this time to utilize this time as learning, getting into the technology and knowing all the aspects of the technology which they use for their business to grow. Government measures. Now, the COVID-19, the setback, even the government feels that they need to come up with some of the measures so that the business, the entrepreneurs feel better. The far-reaching impact of coronavirus continues to evolve. Though the Indian government is taking enormous measures to curb the loss caused by global pandemic, entrepreneurs are grappling for stability when sales and revenue remain at standstill, whereas it is difficult to get hold of expenses. With adverse outcomes looming large on the economy, government intervention and relief measures are the need of the hour to minimize the damage caused by COVID-19. In response to the COVID-19 impact on the industry, the RBI has given a moratorium on term loans, eased working capital financing, and put off interest payment on working capital facilities without an asset classification downgrade. Additionally, many public sector banks have introduced emergency credit lines. Despite these measures, however, due to the halted production and slump in demand, MSMEs are unable to pay their creditors. While the revenue generation remains on hold, there are several expenses that the companies can't get their hands off, such as salaries of the employees, tax deposit, rent of warehouses and office spaces, among many others. Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman announced financial reforms for the entrepreneurs. Crisis is a terrible thing to waste. Looking at the grave situation, technology companies have started coming forward. Economies are hit, businesses are closed. The world is seeing the slowest of slowdown ever. Taking the inspiration from the situation, they are coming up with unique products each day. These products mainly aim to help people and business in grocery, essential services, health, fitness, online learning, e-commerce, workplace tools, among others. Some of the new products which are launched during this period are Hygiene Smart Band, which advises people to maintain serious hygiene to keep the coronavirus off to your body. Temperature checker to check the temperature of the human body using artificial intelligence, which notices someone having fever from a distance. E-commerce deliveries. The e-commerce industry has been using drones for deliveries and e-commerce sales are skyrocketing. Everything is high on demand. E-stores are not missing out on opportunities either. Web stores are extending their presence on mobile by launching quick mobile apps for grocery items, essential goods, and other services. Telemedicine. Due to lockdown, people in most countries are confined to their homes. They are advised to speak with the doctors over the phone instead of visiting them. Telemedicine has greatly helped the already strained doctor community. It is guiding its patients using mobile phones. Patients too are using payment apps to pay their consultation fees online. Online education and learning apps, these are the apps which are being so much in use by the parents, by the public in general, and of course by the entrepreneurs. Learning has become extremely popular during COVID-19 with almost all education startups calling Coursera, edX, and Udemy like shots. Online meeting, cloud software, and video conferencing, of course, its importance cannot be diminished. This is the reason why we people are connected at present. Zoom is another app which is not the byproduct of COVID-19, but the video-based conferencing app has added millions of users to its database during the last few months, making it perhaps the biggest business success of Corona times. Today, Zoom has download tally of over 100 million users plus. High-profile IT, finance, and banking professionals have increased their working hours using video conferencing tools such as Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, besides others. The list above is only a glimpse of what is actually happening in the field of technology during the crisis faced by the world. Now, Indians are very comfortable with Jugaad technology. Not only in the field of innovation, but many have come up with the Jugaad technology also, which is supposed to be a favorite of Indians. Indians are too smart in this Jugaad technology. What they have developed? They have developed advanced wash basins. A wash basin has been installed at many public premises in such a way that one need not touch either the hand wash bottle or the pipe. Instead, push a lever by foot. Many variations of this wash basins are being used at many railway stations, bus stops, and other public places. COVISafe transporting patients. Doctors in Nagpur innovated COVISafe to ensure the transport of COVID-19 patients. The box fits well on medical stretchers and is completely airtight. Emergency facilities like oxygen and ventilators can be easily installed on the box. Most important, when the coronavirus patient breathes, the air that comes out of the box is filtered. The idea is to help the doctors and healthcare staff from getting infected. Sanitizers tunnels, which are organic disinfected tunnels. A nodal officer from Chikbalpura district set up India's first organic disinfected tunnel on the main road of a town. The first of its kind tunnel uses an organic fumigant instead of sodium hypochlorite, is 20 feet high and was completed with polythene sheets. Phone booth testing. In a bid to healthcare staff from getting infected, the municipal corporations has created a phone booth where patients can be tested for coronavirus. Automatic mask machines are producing large number of masks daily to meet the demand of the market in the present time. Now, to such a sad state of COVID-19, we do have a silver lining. The opportunities in the sectors which are day-to-day necessities. The COVID-19 days are glooming. Several COVID-19 days are gloomy, but the companies are not silently watching. They have adapted like chameleons to the situation and stretched their brand, reshuffled their production lines, and catered to new needs. In short, they have listened to the market and taken a risk or two, making COVID-19 the main propeller for new growth and for the bright future. Going sector-wise, we are also seeing opportunities in the following. We have great opportunity in the sector of food, supplying fresh food and groceries, vegetables and fruits, cooking, appliances. Entertainment is, of course, one of the very upcoming and quite in use industry, where gaming industry, new ways of dispensing content and promoting small business online, fun and cooking classes, education, sports and well-being. The virtual classrooms, online fitness, meditation, and yoga classes have gained popularity during this period. The service industries, contactless system, enhanced delivery services, remote banking services, etc. Healthcare and health technology, pharmaceutical supplements, medical services, medical devices, personal protective equipment, telemedicine, smart hospitals, and online consultations. Digital medical assistants, apps and mini apps, self-diagnosing medical devices have become immensely popular. Electrical appliances such as dishwasher, washing machine, sterilization machines, sweeping robots are again much in demand. Office cost reduction opportunities. The office rent is expensive and flexible work arrangements are yet to be explored in their full functional scope. This will open up opportunities across multiple and linked sectors, such as office space design, redesigning of it, building remote work systems, software platforms, and cloud-based services, all of which will likely see significant gains once the world economy goes into post-COVID-19 recovery mode and employers keep their offices, space, costs in check in case their staff will need to work from other locations. Now, the learning curve. Every crisis serves as a learning opportunity for entrepreneurs, and this pandemic is proving to be quite the lesson. Here's how the organizations are figuring out their next moves. Firms are forced to be smarter. Learning from forced experimentation and investment in risk mitigating technologies may help firms become smarter and more flexible. For example, before the crisis, firms may have regarded the investment of time and resources to experiment with remote work as too costly. The unfortunate COVID-19 crisis left with no options. Workers who prefer to work from home may find increased productivity, reduced commute time, and lower quit rate because they are all overall happy. Similar considerations also apply to business travel as firms become smarter at identifying less information, sensitive and interaction, critical trips that teleconferencing can replace. Remote working. With major cities on lockdown, organizations have had no choice but to dig into their business continuity and contingency plans. Ever since the first COVID-19 case was confirmed in India, numerous companies have instituted a work from home drill using critical resources to understand whether remote working conditions are feasible. That being said, remote working also has its limitation and cannot be carried out by other sectors like retail, hospitality, or manufacturing, leaving them with no choice but to face the business interruption. Safety measures for the employees. Employee safety is the need of the hour. Still, with no experience of dealing with a virus that has the potential to spread rapidly, most companies are brushing off their hands by asking employees to stay home. Some organizations, however, are implementing measures like temperature screening, disinfection of office premises, setting up COVID-19 response teams, distribution of COVID-19 precautionary packages, an open line of communication. Even though the mortality rate of COVID-19 is lower than the 1918 influenza pandemic, it has caused a widespread panic due to unclear lines of communication. Organizations are stepping up and maintaining an open line of communication with all their stakeholders, including employees and customers. Building up after COVID-19. This is important. This shall pass, this will pass. It will not pass as quickly as we wanted or as fast as we are comfortable with, but it surely will pass. And in its way, it will leave a massive impact from a business and personal perspective. We don't need to sugarcoat that. We don't need to look for the silver lining. We just need to be okay with that because we don't have a choice really. And so we survive. Let's take away the pressure to thrive. There is no doubt that we will witness amazing feats of resilience. We will see entrepreneurs coming up with amazing ideas very soon. How to build up and be better. Rebuilding after COVID-19. The COVID-19 outbreak has wreaked financial havoc around the globe, leaving many small business owners and the entrepreneurs struggling in its wake. The coronavirus exit plan should include the following to help with getting your business back. Innovate in your product to fit the new market. It's not only about developing something new and original, it's also about taking what's already there and making it much better to suit the new market. In other words, not everyone has to be the first to invent driverless cars, but someone has to be the first to make them better. Assess the financial damage. The first step in developing a rebuilding plan for COVID-19 is determining just how deeply your business has been affected. Compare your financial statements with the last year's figures to see how much your business may be down. Take a second look at your business plan. Your business model may have worked perfectly fine for pre-COVID-19, but coming out of it may mean you have to do some fine-tuning. Specifically, you may need to consider your business and power to adjust to a new normal. When going over your business plans and business model, get clear on your business's strengths and weaknesses. Then look at what was working before that may not work as well now, and see where you can adjust or improve to remain competitive. Finally, don't forget to revisit your business goals to make sure they are realistic enough given the current circumstances. Consider whether you will need funding to recover. Unless you had a large amount of cash on hand going through the pandemic, it's likely that you may need some working capital to jumpstart your business options coming out of it. If you are considering financing to help rebuild, keep in mind that borrowing may be competitive as lenders want some reassurance that loans can be repaid. Revamp your budget to account for new spending. Coming out of COVID-19 pandemic, you may have to spend money before you can make money. As part of your coronavirus recovery, you should have a clear idea of what you need to be budgeting for and what you can cut to make the most of the revenue you do have coming in. The goal is to eliminate the monetary waste and get your operating budget as lean as possible so that when the chance to invest in growth comes up, you are able to take advantage of it. Develop a timeline for rebuilding. Fix up a timeline for rebuilding your enterprise. You may have several things you need to or want to do to recover following COVID-19, but doing everything at once may not be realistic. But what can help is having a timeline to follow that prioritizes your most important actions first. For example, your immediate goal may be securing funding for your business. Once you have done that, you can set a timeline for rehiring employees, then restocking inventory, and finally reopening your doors of your business. Create a contingency plan for the next crisis. While the coronavirus pandemic may seem like a once-in-a-lifetime event, the reality is that an emergency can come along to disrupt your business at any time. Using what you have learned during the current pandemic to prepare for the next crisis can help you insulate your business from future shocks. The pandemics use already existing contacts to regrow your entrepreneurships, to regrow your businesses. Design and concept alterations are needed so that it may suit the new market. Managing funding and investments are very important so that the setback which you had due to COVID-19, you can easily overcome those setbacks. Now, suggestions. Do not undermine the importance of technology. The technology helped us to float during this pandemic. It was technology only due to which we can survive at this grave duration. Learning and making the use of technology in future will give us an upper edge. Upper edge. Do not dishearten. You are not alone in this scenario. The gloomy scenario, the sad and the unhappy scenario which we people are facing, everybody is facing the same thing. So be happy into it, try to make others happy and stay motivated. Maintain good physical and mental health. Health comes first, as said, Jaan hai to jahan hai. Start making post-COVID plans already. One should not wait for it to be over. You should start making the plans for the future working. Be open to the opportunities. Look for the new opportunities, as there will be many, many opportunities as it's a new market. Whosoever will grab them will be the winner. Use the government given rebates and incentives. Many people do not take the benefits of government schemes and policies due to the absence of the knowledge. The policies and the rebates have been declared by the government very openly, and entrepreneurs can make use of them and grow their enterprises. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Who knows better? Only those who adapt will prosper. COVID-19 has radically transformed our lives. This pandemic will redefine the way we live and exist. It will create new norms. The biggest consequence of COVID-19 outbreak is the transformation of the way we work. This has been feasible because of availability of high speed of internet, which is of course low cost coverage and increased usage of data sharing and communication apps. The impact of this pandemic on global supply chains is witnessing unprecedented disruption of the type which the world has never seen before, and this will give India a great opportunity in the platform, in the world platform, to enter as a business tycoon. Our companies would also require size and scale to penetrate the global markets. Thirdly, we will see the phenomenal rise of telemedicine. The Indian health system is characterized by a severe shortage of doctors and health practitioners. The key to managing the corona pandemic is to keep sick people out of hospitals. Virtual consultations with doctors will help the overcrowding of the hospitals. Next, since a vaccine for coronavirus has not yet been innovated, the only way to fight its spread is to practice social distancing. It puts space between people and enable us to break the chain and stop the spread of the virus. This we need to continue in the future also. Next, we will see the emergence of contactless delivery. We are living in a new reality. Customers would like to orders delivered with no contact. The delivery person would also like to reduce the risk of infection by avoiding contact with people in the supply chain. Consumers will avoid casual shopping and people will be eating out far less. Something really good is coming out, definitely. Given the global adoption of social distancing, consumers will order delivery more often. In fact, this will grow and expand at a rapid pace. During the lockdown period, delivery has gone from being a convenience to a necessity, particularly in food and medical supplies. The future will belong to e-commerce and e-pharmacies. The present times are a period of upheaval and radical disruption. It is at these significant inflection points that future leaders lay the foundation and gather momentum for their future leadership. The most respected and admired industrialist and philanthropist, Ratan Tata, said that the entrepreneurs and CEOs of the country can brave the coronavirus outbreak, which is wreaking havoc on the economy. He said that he trusts the new age business to innovate, adapt, and find their way out of the current crisis. It can all start on a clean sheet of paper that looks at ways of doing things that were never thought of before. This crisis will force entrepreneurs to adapt and to create. It's important to be agile now. It's time to restructure. It's time to new beginnings. It's time to salute a new beginning. That's all for this lecture. I cannot hear you, Shruti. No sound.
Yeah, ma'am. Now it is.
So that's all from my side. I hope the scholars got new insight into the topic, the entrepreneurship post COVID-19. I hope it was knowledgeable.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Definitely. As you can see in chat box, we are getting very awesome feedback, like excellent, and our participant wants more to hear from your side. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for your awesome session and your excellent thoughts. Like definitely, we should be. We have to be. We have to think about that. How can we go for entrepreneurship post COVID? And you have shared very thoughtful and very good information about how can we start our entrepreneurship after COVID-19. So participants, I request, if you have any query, please post in chat box. Within 10 minutes, by 11 o'clock, we'll start our another session. I request you all, ma'am, if we have one query,
Yeah.
what advice do you give for budding entrepreneurs?
For the budding entrepreneurs, I'll suggest they should pay attention to the technological aspect of the entrepreneurship, because technology is going to stay in the present time. Post-COVID, everyone has realized that technology will help them out to move out of any kind of crisis if it arises. So it is always better to, whatever enterprise, whatever work, whatever business you have in mind, relate it with the technology. That will be very beneficial and progressive in future.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Regarding, we got queries regarding your PPT and all the data. So hello, am I audible? Yeah. So
Yes.
participants, we are starting our YouTube channel by today. So I'm uploading all the recording of the session in YouTube channel. So in our WhatsApp group, I'll share all the information, the link of YouTube channel. So you will get all the content, whatever be the taken by yesterday's speaker and ma'am also, and today's more speaker, and all the 6 days you will get in that YouTube channel. So today I will share definitely. So I'll see the chat box. The session is very informative. I'm very grateful to the organizers of webinar for conducting such a wonderful session. Thank you, sir. Informative session. Thank you, ma'am. Nice session. Very informative. Very nice presentation. Yeah. Tariq, sir, have you connected your audio? Yeah. In left corner, you will get, when you have logged in the meeting, you will get audio. So please connect with your phone. Connect to device audio, you will get the voice. So I think issue with from your side only. Please try to connect more, or try to use earphone or headphone. Yeah, again, we got very nice and informative session. So thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your session, and thanks a lot for spending your valuable time with us. And
Thank you
if
so much, Shruti.
and
It was
we will,
nice being interactive.
yeah,
Thank you.
definitely. And ma'am, definitely we will try to organize your session for our students as well in college. When the college will reopen, like the same platform, we'll organize your session for our students as well, because they also want nowadays, as the this pandemic, after this pandemic, like the jobs definitely will reduce. So everyone should think about the entrepreneurship and their own startups.
Definitely.
So definitely we will, our students needs your advice and your motivation. So we'll organize your session. Now we have one more query. Ma'am, can you please list out the government scheme that you know which encourage startups India?
Well, to listing out is will be difficult right at the moment. But what we can do is I can list out the things and attach with the presentation, which will be uploaded at the YouTube. That will be better, I think, because this it's a big list and a number of benefits which the government is giving is a lot. So it's better I'll attach the list with the presentation itself.
Ma'am, please tell me what is the difference between entrepreneurship and network marketing?
See, network marketing is entirely a different. It is a business sector. In a manner, it is also there to earn money. But networking market is a different aspect. Entrepreneurship is something where you involve many people with an infrastructure, with a setup, and the business organization. Networking is developing the network. It's the purpose of both the thing is to earn money, but they work on a very different pattern.
Yeah, okay. So I request all the participants to please switch on your video so that we can take a screenshot. This is a memory for our workshop with ma'am, our speaker, Dr. Neeta Sharma ma'am. I request all the participants to please switch on your videos. So all are ready. So Deepika ma'am, can you please take a screenshot? Deepika ma'am, please take a screenshot and share with me so that I can share in all our groups. Deepika ma'am, done? Okay, ma'am, thank you. Neeta ma'am, thank you. Thanks a lot again to spare your valuable time with us. And definitely your session will be very informative as we are getting in our chat box feedback. So thanks a lot once again, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So dear participants, we have our another speaker ready with us, Dr.Ameet Chavan, Dean Innovation and Research in Sreenidhi Institute of Science and Technology. Let me make him co-host. So please unmute yourself.
Yeah, done, madam.
Yeah. So I feel privileged to introduce Amit Chauhan, sir. So good morning, one and all. We have our plenary speaker, Dr. Ameet Chauhan, Dean Innovation and Research, Sreenidhi Institute of Science and Technology. Sir has received his bachelor degree from electronics from Pune University in 1998. He received Master of Science degree EC from University of Texas, UTEP in 2003, and PhD EC 2010 from UTEP. While completing his studies, Dr. Chavan worked as a faculty for Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering (UTEP). He worked as a research engineer with Intel Corporation, Advanced Micro Device AMD, and EcoStar Technologies Limited. He has more than 12 years of a combined experience of industry and academia. Dr. Chauhan has worked as a chip design research project sponsored by Defense Advanced Research System Agency DARPA USA, which was fabricated at MIT London Labs USA. Dr. Chauhan has presented and published research in various international conference meetings of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering IEEE and NASA symposium on VLSI design. To further support his research, Dr. Chauhan received research awards from NASA, DARPA, SPAWR, and the University of Texas at EI Paso Graduate School. Additionally, he was awarded a Texas Instrumentation Foundation Scholarship, a Texas Public Education Scholarship, and a National Science Foundation NSF Distributed Computing Laboratory Scholarship. Dr. Chauhan worked as a postdoctoral faculty researcher in the ASIC's ASCII's Research Lab, UTEP. He has taught digital systems design, microprocessor based system design, and embedded system design courses at the ECE department, UTEP. Currently, Dr. Chauhan is working as a Dean Innovation and Research and a professor at the School of Electronics of Sreenidhi Institute of Science and Technology, Hyderabad. So along with that, I want to add more thing about sir. Like we can say that the term innovation we can understand from Amit Chauhan sir only. We can call him as a founder of innovation in Sreenidhi Institute of Science and Technology. Sir, I welcome you on in this workshop Atmanirbhar. I request you to please start your session.
Thank you very much, madam. That was a very long profile that you have read. Okay. Means exactly as you have pointed out, that's why I kept the title of my talk today as Why Innovate, right? So this is based on my experience that I deal with students and also faculties who are very much interested in this aspect. So I thought I will cover some points in this regard. So at the outset, I want to thank the organizers and Department of ECE for giving me this opportunity to address the participants of this workshop. And very aptly, you have chosen the right areas, that is innovation, design thinking, and entrepreneurship. So these are the, what to say, foundation pillars that are required for anybody who is interested to pursue his career in this direction. So it starts with innovation, and that's why I thought we should give the right, direction in this regard as to why they should think about innovation and why they need to innovate, right? So first, what I will do is I will start about taking into perspective our country as a whole, because you have also given the title as Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? So why our country, or how our country can be self-reliant, right? To start with that, I'll take our country as a perspective in that manner, especially during this pandemic time. And then how students can build their career, right? That also I'll try to give some highlights, which I think Neeta Sharma madam has nicely covered. She has already set the platform. So I will just cover a couple of things from my side, and especially how academia, faculty, in their excellence, in their pursuit of excellence, can do some modifications or inculcate some things that will help students and the overall community. And there are some points I want to share with regard to how corporates who are looking forward to become, to increase their outreach or to have a global dominance, can incorporate some of the things in their functioning, right? So let's start. Shall I share my screen, madam?
So you can share the screen. You are the co-host, so you can share the screen.
Okay. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me minimize few of the things. Right? Okay, so that's why I named my discussion today as why innovate, right? So taking into consideration, as I said earlier, our country, student, faculty, and corporates. Okay. So going ahead, let's start with country as a whole. So if India has to become self-reliant, what it needs to first undo or try to overcome is following. First thing is it should try to address how it can overcome low productivity, because that's been, if we have to play that global leader role and if we have to target that $5 trillion economy, right? So we have to look at our productivity first. So we have to strengthen our supply chain in order to support our production. Next is, as Neeta Sharma madam was also mentioning, that we have to improve upon our quality, and we have to overcome accepting lower technologies. We have to look forward and adopt emerging technologies, which I'll be mentioning shortly. And we have to be globally competitive. Okay, there is time now that world is looking for an alternative for China, and we should be emerging as the nation that is the first choice in that case. Okay. So talking about technologies, as many of you already know that there are almost 10 to 12 emerging technologies that we should, or any industry should start adopt. Because primarily when we look at our MSMEs or our industries, we should look forward for Industry 4.0 revolution, right? And the technologies that will help us create new path and new products are robotics, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cloud computing, big data analytics, 3D printing. As I said, again, these are only some of the few technologies that are listed here, but other technologies that will create a bigger platform is your 5G. And then if you put everything together, this will also help your Industry 4.0. Then there are other technologies that can also create some new job markets, are your drones and so on. Okay, so we need to look forward for these technologies. We need to train our people. We have to improve skills in these areas and make sure that we are ready whenever the market is ready to give us that opportunity to start building products. Okay. So next, what I would like to discuss is what are the challenges and opportunities that we as a country will have going ahead. So let me first list out the challenges. First is, as I mentioned earlier, we should be able to learn and adopt new technologies, right? I have given the list earlier. So that is the first task that the government should be looking at, reskilling people, right? Because now there are many people who are out of jobs or looking for jobs. So this is an excellent opportunity for them to get trained, and there should be an excellent platform that should be created for them to get some training in these technologies, right? What we also need to look at is for more of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary approach, right? Whenever we are designing any product, we cannot just have it. So now, best example is your car, let's say, right? So car is no longer just a mechanical engineering product. It is now become, it has migrated, I would say, from an electronics based product to an IT based product. So many of the features that you see in a modern autonomous car or electric car, right? It is more of what do you say, customer friendly, driver friendly, where infotainment and other features are already provided. So that has resulted because of all interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary work approach. Okay. Next important aspect or challenge is life cycle of products is decreasing. Okay. So that means that the customer requirements and needs are rapidly changing. Because of that, what is happening is that a product which may be relevant in today's market may not be relevant tomorrow. So what we need to do is we need to innovate rapidly. So country has to be ready for that. And that's why my title is again, why we need to innovate, right? why we go ahead for that. And this is one of the main reasons for that. Other important, as India is a major hub for IT, we have to look at and address our data piracy and cyber security issues. Because if nations are again looking to set up their centers here, because if you see the current situation that is also there in US right now, it's very, gruesome. I mean, look at the riots and violence that is been going on there. So countries, big countries, they are always looking, they are looking for alternatives. And one of the major concerns that they have to pass on projects to a country like ours is when they look at these issues. So we have to have a strong policy with regard to this, so that we can be again a first choice when it comes to becoming a hub for big giants. Already that's been happening, but this needs to be strongly looked upon. Now let's look at the opportunity side, right? So at opportunity side, what we have is we need to focus on domestic industry growth, okay? And that has to happen very rapidly. So earlier I was mentioning that we need to strengthen our MSMEs. And with the release of this package of 20 lakh crores, I'm sure this will strengthen our domestic production, and that has to be augmented with emerging technologies. And this brings to my next point, which is to create innovative product solutions. We have to improve upon services and their efficiencies. Now, set all this, we have to make sure that there is a good global branding of our products, because we have to make sure that we are globally competitive and we have a strong supply chain domestically to support that, right? There is no longer foreign dependency and everything is manufactured indigenously. Now, what technology has done, especially in the recent couple of months, is that we have learned to teach ourselves, right? So now technology has given that or created a level playing field for everybody. So what we have to do is we have to take this as an opportunity. And what recently we have seen, the migration of workers from one state to another state, that needs to be avoided. We have to create more local opportunities. So more local jobs have to be created, right? And that in future will make sure that we achieve social equality. So these are some of the challenges and opportunities that I have listed out going forward, what will help our country. Now let's look at, because innovation is one of the things that will certainly make sure that we are taking that leap going forward. I want to just show you where India stands with respect to the innovation index itself, okay? So we have this Bloomberg that releases innovation index, and it ranks 60 most innovative economies worldwide. And the aspects or parameters that they consider is your R&D intensity, okay? So what it means is how much a country is spending on its annual research and development, okay? And that pretty much is how much is the percentage with regard to that country's GDP, okay? Next important parameter is your patent activity. So here we look at the number of annually the patents that are being filed and granted, okay? And what they do is they take an average of over 3 years of patents that are being filed abroad, okay? And how much is the share of the country's patent when they look at the overall world, okay? I will show you those metrics also. Next is territory efficiency. So the total number of enrollment in higher education, the share of labor force with advanced education levels, and their share in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics graduates, okay? That is creating that labor force, okay? So that's one of the parameters there. Next is manufacturing value added, okay? So here they are looking at manufacturing output levels, contribution to exports, and that is again taken as a percentage of your GDP and per capita. Now, with regard to again productivity, what is the working age of your overall population, okay? And this is again taken at the average of 3 years, okay? And how much the country is involved in high tech, okay? What is the density of it, okay? the volume of domestic and high-tech public companies that are there, okay? And with regard to, again, world's total companies, that is a comparison that they use. Lastly, the important aspect that they consider is researchers' concentration. So how many professionals or PhDs that are there that are actively engaged in R&D, that is considering the across population. So these are some of the metrics that are considered to give an innovation ranking, I would say, to each country. Okay, so let's go forward. So please let me know if you have any questions. You can drop down. I'll be glad to answer them. Okay. Okay. So now coming to this global innovation index. So where does India stand? Okay. So India's current ranking is 52, which has improved from last time. I think it was around 57. Now this has, I think, start of or end of last year it was announced. I think it was around 52. Okay. So now, how these rankings are given is for each of the criteria, 100 points are given, an average of that is taken. Okay. So here the overall score of India is 36.52. Now, if you look at what are the top 10 innovative countries, right? We have Switzerland, Sweden, so on. And the last country in the top 10 is Israel with a score of 57.43. So what our scientists and technologists and even in the government, their plan is to make sure that we reach in top 25 by next 4 to 5 years. And that can only happen if we as a country and each and every one are contributing in this aspect, which is innovation aspect. Okay. And now, how do we relate this innovation index to world's most contributing economies with highest GDPs, right? So if you look at top 10 companies that are there, and if you look at the GDP share that each of these countries is having, so each share is given for each continent here. So United States, as you see, is a major chunk. Next one is your China, okay? And which is having, I think, a rank of around close to 2025, I think, okay? And next Japan and others, so on, okay? So we have to make sure that with this, now we are currently at around $2.6 trillion economy. So our goal is to make sure we push this to around $5 trillion. I'm sure when the percentages of government spending in R&D and higher education goes up, I'm sure we will reach the mark that is set, which is of achieving rank 25. Okay. Okay, now I'm just comparing here because earlier I mentioned something about making sure that India is one of the alternatives going forward. So if you look at the GDPs over the year, okay, so here India is in blue, okay, which is still emerging here, okay, and then we are looking at China, so which is well ahead. So we have to make sure that we close this gap, okay. So some of the areas, as I was mentioning earlier, that we have to focus and invest is really on innovation aspect and the R&D funding for scientists and engineers. Okay, so one such example that India can look ahead is Israel as a startup nation. Okay, so that is because the investment that they have with regard to venture capitalists. This is old figure. Okay. So they have $2 billion of investment in 2008. So I just looked at the figure for India during that time. It was around close to, I think, $180 million, okay, which is far less than what India was spending at that time. But now it has drastically improved. It is close to now, I think, around $8 to $9 billion, okay, which is many folds, I would say, okay. Okay, now let's look at patents that are being filed. So I have two metrics here. So I have taken two patent filing, popular patent filing regions. One is European region and another one is US PTO. Okay. So here also, if you see the percentages of countries that are mostly filing patents, India is nowhere there. Okay, so it is probably in somewhere in the others. So I've looked at the figures comparing from 2015 and 2019 also. So we see that we are still nowhere there. So if a country has to be innovative and it has to protect those innovations, we have to obviously file for patents, and we have to make sure that we reach out to these regions and file and protect our innovations. Okay, so everybody, so where does the sensitization start? It starts right at, I would say, at student level, okay, which I'll be addressing shortly, and it goes all the way top to the corporate level. Okay. Okay, so now this is the graph for US Patent Office. So it is just comparing 2 years, 2018 and 19. Okay, so here also you can see that the earlier one was for European Patent Office, and now this is for US Patent Office. So here also you see that India is nowhere there. And look at the numbers also. The numbers are very, very high for other countries, right? How many patents they have been filing over the years. But we are nowhere close. So one of the problems that I have seen, especially working with our Indian Patent Office, is that I see that the processing part is very, very slow. We have filed, especially I have filed 2 or 3 patents in the year 2013-14. So far, it hasn't come to the examination part. And what I hear from our patent attorney is that the backlog is almost for 8 to 9 years. So that means they haven't started processing patents that have been filed for last 7 to 8 years. Okay, so this needs to be more efficient, and because if we have to make sure that you are protecting yourself in the emerging market, right? This patent office has to be more proactive in that regard. Okay, now let's come to our discussion about innovation itself, right? So as Thomas Alva Edison has said, innovation is something you have to identify a way to do things better, and you have to find it. As simple as that, okay, in a nutshell, okay? So if you look at a somewhat proper definition, I would say that innovation happens when someone improves on or makes a significant contribution to something that's already been invented. So this difference we will also look at what is invention and what is innovation. Okay, so what are the different types of innovation that can happen, right? So it could be, it is divided into 3 major sectors, and each one is covering 3 of them. Okay, so total 9 types of innovation are there. So I will cover only a couple of them. Okay, so one would be what we usually look out for is the disruptive in nature, like something that has changed the entire field or something that was totally out of the box, right? So the innovations that are displays established companies or industries. So one such good examples would be like we no longer have companies or renting agencies that were making CDs for movies, right? Now everything is online content, right? Even when you're presently at this pandemic, also when your theaters are not working, there is no stopping of entertainment because all the dissemination of movies are coming out of through your online content through like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something. So this was totally disruptive. So it has totally changed the paradigm of the market. Okay. Next is what I would say is what we call service based. Okay, introduction of new or significantly improved service that generates new customer value. So if you look at, for example, I can give you Redbus. Okay, so Redbus is an excellent example that has given that service and ease of people to book their bus transportation online, right? And this was started with a simple identification of the problem that they had, where they themselves faced this issue of not having to wait for a bus, not knowing when it will arrive, right? So they have created this excellent platform, Redbus, which has helped many passengers who are traveling through bus. Okay. Next is having a product itself. Okay, a totally innovative product. Okay, so which will be addressing a unique problem. Okay, that is specially not been addressed at a customer segment level. So I will be in fact giving you some examples. I know there are many examples on innovative product, but I would like to give you some of the innovative product what have been developed in-house by our own students. Okay. So next is business model in itself. Okay, so how we operate things, how we deliver things, right? so if you look at online shopping, for example, right? So Amazon, okay, it has again created a new business model. So if you look at even what Yo-Yo is doing, right? So it has completely changed the market in how you do the traditional business, okay? And in some cases, it could be also incremental in nature, where you are just augmenting that existing product with a technology and making sure that it tries to give more service and what do you say, convenience to the customer, right? That is also a form of innovation. So there is no something that you are starting from scratch in case of an innovation. So you are just trying to make sure that it addresses a unique problem, okay, considering whatever the existing technologies that are available for you to work on. Okay, so let's go ahead. So here I'm just for students' sake, I'm giving this difference between creativity, invention, and innovation. Okay, so creativity, in a nutshell, in itself is like something like presenting a novel idea. Okay, which is sounds very appealing, and but at its nature, it's very fuzzy. Okay, there is a lot of clarity that is required. Okay, and it cannot be, I think, validated until you create a prototype out of it. Okay, so this is just based on initial brainstorming that happens whenever you are trying to solve a problem. Okay, so this is the first level, I would say, creativity that happens anytime you are taking up any issue. Okay, so invention is creating something new, okay, which the world has never seen before. Okay, and the idea here is that there is lot of, typically I would say, lot of R&D goes into it. So you have to employ people. Okay, big companies do that. Okay, and then you need lot of investment, and then you need to work upon ideas here. Okay, so you have known the problem, but you need something that is not already existing. So you need to make sure that people work on it, on those ideas that were proposed, and you come out with a result, and that will be truly new in nature, and that becomes an invention. Okay, so here you are primarily dependent on your scientific skills, okay, in order to go ahead for invention. Okay, now what is innovation? Okay, so innovation is making the invention into a product form. So here what we are looking at is, we are looking something that can be commercialized. Okay, so where you are trying to what do you say, package that invention into a product and make sure you are making profit out of it, right? So you are making money out of it. So here many things are required. So you need to make sure that you understand the market. Okay, you have the right technical skill in order to build that product. Okay, and there is some strategy for you to go ahead, because there may be similar I would say products that may be available there, but you have to make sure that you strategize and brand it properly in order to make profit out of it. Okay, so ultimately that's the goal with innovation. Okay, so many times students, they think that they are coming with something innovative that is very good, but one thing that they don't consider while doing the innovation process is that ultimately it has to be converted into a product, and they need to make sure that whoever is investing into that product building has to get his money back, and they have to make what is called profit, and they have to be sustainable. So these are some of the important things that students don't consider as they go along. Okay. Okay, so again, just a simple example. So when the first wheel came out, probably that was the invention, but now you see wheels have been modified. We have tubeless tires and chrome wheels, right? Entire metallic wheels, right? And you have wheels with the built-in feature that can detect the tire pressure and everything. And in fact, you are inflated, then it can also pump in pressure into the tire. So okay. So other inventions are your silicon chips, okay, which we start right from scratch. So you design for a specific application, okay, and then using those chips, now you have products that are built. Okay, so I've just shown you some of the products, right, from your PC, laptop, cameras, cell phones, so on. So all these are built as products using those chips. Okay, At this point, I just want to engage our participant and ask them to identify any one simple device or an invention, okay, and then that was converted to an innovation, a product. So I'll just give you some couple of seconds here for you to think about. Okay. Okay, so one great invention of our generation is LED. Okay, so now that has created products like your smart LED bulbs, right? So this is an excellent example. Okay, now going ahead, now I want to address our students, okay, who should be inspiring to be an innovator. Okay, so what are the traits or attributes that they should be following? Okay, so one thing I usually tell my students is they should develop an habit to observe, identify, and obviously they should take this up to solve problems. Okay, this is the essential part that anybody, I will tell you later why this is important, but they should make sure that they understand and be observant, right? If they are trying to uh, come into this field, right, they have to make sure that they completely be what you call empathize with the problem, okay, and then they can come up with a better solution, okay. And for that, what is required is you need to go ahead and get involved into brainstorming, okay. You need to make sure that you engage in a team, okay, so that you can explore more alternatives so somebody else can also come up with better solutions, okay. Next is one of the things that students should develop is uh, failure should not bog you down, okay. So you should learn from your failures, right? So earlier I have given example of Thomas Alva Edison, okay, who has invented the bulb. So he failed many times, in fact 1,000 times before he came up with the bulb, right? But that didn't stop him. So that's what I would tell my students, that uh, you will face a lot of hurdles, so that, but that should not stop you, okay. There may be cases when you think that you almost reach the end, but sometimes you need to go back and start all over again. So you should be prepared for that. So that prepares you mentally to be strong, and that helps you build your career going ahead when you work for corporates, okay, or if you also desire to be an entrepreneur, okay. Another important aspect that students should develop is how to communicate and how to convince others to act upon. Okay, this is very important feature. So one of the things I tell my students is they should regularly give a lot of presentations. And fortunately, in our college, we have technical seminars for students where they give presentations, because they develop the skill of not only speaking to others, but putting across their point, okay, which is very, very important. And as you evolve in that process, grow in that process, you should also learn how to convince your point of view to others, okay, so that they understand better. And at the same time, you should also be a good critic, in sense that you should take those inputs from others also, okay. And while being an innovator at initial stages, right, uh, you will also identify what inspires you, because ultimately, if you want to be happy in the career that you have chosen, right, you have to enjoy what you are doing, right? And this uh, days of your engineering as a student, that is an excellent opportunity for you to explore things, right? And try to see what really make sure that day in and day out, you will be really enjoying doing that, okay? Uh, and then students should also develop the attitude of I can do, okay. This is very important, and this reflects the confidence, okay. So if anybody is as you go into your career, right, if anybody wants to delegate you some work, right, if they see that confidence in you, then only they will be assigning you that task. So if you develop that attitude, right, that will be very, very helpful. Okay. So going ahead. Okay. Now, what should academia or faculty do in this regard in creating or helping innovation process, right? So first thing is creating and what you said, an environment where innovation can flourish. Okay. So at our institute, we have created Sreenidhi Hub, where all students who are working in this aspect are welcome. They are provided right support, right from making sure that we listen to their solutions to the problems. We give them the right pathway. And if we think that they are coming with something really innovative, we also help them or the management helps them with giving the required seed money for building the prototypes. And if that solution is validated, then we also help them with patenting. And we have the tinkering labs, technology labs for students to come there and build. Okay, so that is one of the important aspects that needs to be there to encourage students, right? One of the things I tell faculties is that they should try to redefine themselves. What I mean by that is uh, every couple of years they should see the work that they have been working on, right, and see if something more could be added to their portfolio or profile, right? So uh, the important aspect here is lifelong learning. So once you have uh, taken up your career as an engineer, right, you have to always learn new things. You have to build on things, right? So this is one of the things I tell my faculties, that you should add new technologies to your portfolio so that going forward, right, you stay more relevant. Okay. Next thing, this is for students again, give them freedom of choice, right? Not just with the courses that they want to take, but how they want to go ahead with that. And especially with regard to innovation, we are trying to bring up some policies where students, if they are spending more time on building things or developing things, we make sure that those times that they are spending is also given credit for, right? So we, as I said earlier, we have technical seminars, but somebody is already has built something or developed something, and he or she is going outside and presenting it to outside world. Then they have already covered that aspect. So we don't want to bog them down in classrooms again and make sure that they go through this process. If they're already excelled and if they're doing well, we want to make sure that they get credits for that. Or somebody who is already into core engineering where they are building things, right? We want to consider those aspects also, and we want to make sure that if they're doing any mini project or group project, if they're already building something innovative, we ask them, okay, those things can also be considered for their credits as far as these projects are concerned. Okay. And as I said earlier, we have to encourage students for out of box critical thinking, right? It is very important. So we have to prompt them. We have to make sure that they have this ability of going out of the box thinking. They critically analyze their own solution. Okay, so that going ahead they develop this what do you call uh, uh, traits of being more what do you call productive in the corporate level. Okay. Uh, and then ultimately we have to make sure that all these innovators are we inspire them, okay, and we also inspire them by introducing them to industry leaders. So sometimes I've seen students are more responsive or more opening to take advice from people who are really hands-on to the things that they are working on. So at our facility also we try to make sure that we call in guest speakers, okay, like one of the sessions that we are doing today. So we call in guest speakers and we make sure that our students interact with those industry experts or startups and learn directly from them. Okay. We try to support collaboration if somebody wants to do any collaborative work, not only just within two departments, right? We also try to collaborate students where they go and work with students of other institutes, right? And in this regard, we also encourage faculty who are doing collaborative research work, okay? And ultimately, we have to make sure that in order to support our students, we have to organize events, right? So we have to make sure that all these aspects are covered when we organize events. So like one that is happening right now, okay? Okay, I'll briefly cover the corporate aspect of it, okay? So why corporates are looking at innovation, okay? So obviously, one main reason is they want to grow, okay? They want to have that sustainable presence, right? And where they have improved upon their products and services, okay? And many times it happens that they need to generate new revenue streams, right? So sometimes the traditional venues get saturated. There is a lot of competition. So there need to be some disruptiveness that comes in where they create new revenues, okay? And many times they are also looking at cost savings, right? So industry 4.2 is one such aspects that helps them remarkably, okay? Where they have this predictive maintenance rather than preventive maintenance, okay? Uh, they try to improve upon their processes which I mentioned earlier, okay? And obviously with improved processes and all this technology, they want to make sure that the faults that are also there are also reduced. So what is the main aspect that I'm concerned, want to focus here is the intangible benefits, right? When a company becomes more innovative, right? So first of all, it tries to bring in the culture of innovation within its company, right? Which is referred as entrepreneurship. Okay, so where everybody is talking to see how they can improve upon the products and services, right? So this also increases the employee engagement. So here's where I ask my students that don't think that innovation is only till your student lifetime. This is something that you have to build upon and will help you when you go to corporates, right? So where all companies now I see are mostly innovative in nature. Okay, they are operating in this mode, right? So with open innovation that is happening in many companies. So what do you mean by open innovation is that they are not only doing internal R&D, but they are also involving all their stakeholders in that aspect, right? And they want to see employees uh, actively engage in that aspect and contribute. Okay, so that's what I tell my students that they should be doing. Okay, so they should be engaged. Companies are looking for continuous improvement. Okay, and then they want to make sure that if they have many departments that are working, okay, they have somebody or their staff working across departments, and the collaboration aspect, what I was covering earlier, is makes more relevant here. Okay, and then obviously team empowerment. Okay, so I'll just, okay. So what I'll do is I'll just cover some of the important innovations that have been happening at our institute. Okay. So meanwhile, if I have any questions, I would like to address that.
Yeah, participants, if you have question, please share your query in chat box. We have enabled chat box. Please share your query in chat box. Yes, sir, you can proceed.
Okay.
In
So
between query will come, so I'll
okay,
keep it.
right. Okay. So because I was telling you about how we have this environment created for our students, right? So we have been taking, sometimes the problems are identified by the student themselves, or many times we do a lot of consultancy work also. So the problem statements also come from industry side. So one such problem that we have got from industry side is this is from DRDO, Center of Advanced System, to develop an intelligent robotic arm, right? So this is beyond regular robotic arm where it just picks and grabs things and places it from one place to another place. But what intelligence that we have added in this one is that this will be used to enter into a small missile enclosure where the robotic arm here carries an entire cable assembly, and that goes into this like a snake. It goes into the missile assembly, and then it tries to make the connection and disconnection. Okay, so while doing that, there will be already a lot of congestion of wires that are there. So it has got tactical sensors where it tries to avoid all these interferences and make sure that it goes to the destination what has been assigned to it, and makes the connection or does the disconnection of the cable wire, okay, data cable wire. Another important aspect that we have also added is that sometimes we need to do some bolting and unbolting work also. Okay, so here again same thing. So there will be a camera that is fixed on the robotic arm that will ensure that we are also watching where it is going. Okay, and autonomously the destination will be set and it will go to the location and it can do the task that has been assigned to it. Okay, and believe me, the initial designing was held by students, but most of the implement was given to the students by faculty, but most of the implementation was done by students itself. Okay. Okay, this is another interesting product that was designed and developed by student. The product name that they have given is Aqua. This is used for water conservation and budgeting. So the idea here is that you have this smart valve that connects to your regular water pipe, right? And then you can monitor how much water you have been consuming on day-to-day basis or hourly basis. Okay, and then you can set up threshold levels. So this will be interfaced to an app. You can set. Yeah, ma'am.
Sir, have you shared the screen, sir? Screen share is not available now.
It says pause share. So
आपका screen share नहीं है अभी. It's not visible.
but for me it is saying you are screen sharing. करके.
Yeah.
For
Okay. Now. Continue, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So here this product gets interfaced to an app where you can set up the threshold levels of how much water you want to consume on a given day, and you can also set up during what time you want to make sure that this valve is on, right? And then once it reaches the threshold level that you have set, it gives out an SMS or message saying that you are not able to that you have consumed your daily quota of water usage. Okay, and then within that app you can increase your quota, or if you don't take any action, it goes ahead and close down the valve. Okay, so this is the initial basic functionality that the students have designed with. Now what they're looking at is going beyond these features and making sure that they are able to communicate with the product to do some real-time diagnosis. Okay, so this is mostly through the cloud, which will be helpful to provide the right customer service, right? So if if the product is not working, they want to make sure that they are able to diagnose what is the problem, right? If it needs any reconfiguration that can be done, or programming can be done to the product. Okay, so and they have showcased this product prototype at many innovations, and they have received awards and accolades for this product. Okay, so next is again a product that is developed at our innovation center. This is Smart Pill Companion. Okay, so the students have identified the problem, especially for elderly citizens and differently abled people, where they don't many times don't remember to take the pill on the time, right? So and to make sure that this adherence is there with regard to taking the pills, right? They have designed this smart pill companion. So what it does is, we have many what do you call features that are added to this product. So one first feature is that it not only accommodates one patient, but multiple patient prescription medications pills can be added to it. So a simple fingerprint recognition will identify the patient, right? And it dispenses the right pill for them. Okay. And in many cases, sometimes you may have some ailment or you may need some immediate consultation with the doctor. So what they have done is they have added one medical chatbot to it, where you can tell in your symptoms and some pre-recorded diagnosis will be given out to you. And later all this will also be communicated to your regular physician with whom you can interact later. Okay. And then it also keeps track of if you have taken the pill on time or if there was any delay, right? So all these logs will be created and that will be sent to your loved one, also to your doctor. In any case, if you have, let's say, even given your thumb impression to take the pill, but you forgot to pick up the cup, then also it gives you an alarm or an SMS saying that your pills are in the dispensable bin for you to pick up. Okay, so some of the cute features that these guys have added, and right now this product at actually a high-end prototype has been accepted by AICT and MHRD for a commercial product development, so which they are going to start soon. Okay. So next is this smart faucet or basin that students have created, Ashutosh. And recently during this COVID time, where we have this problem of having to go to soap dispensing and then to water faucet for washing our hands and then drying it up. So they have created one combined faucet that includes everything, right from your soap dispensing to water outlet, plus drying of your hands with air. Okay, so you don't have to touch anything. You just have to be at the faucet, the basin, and then it automatically takes care of all the need. And another product that the students have also developed is a smart bathroom, where especially for differently abled people, it's very difficult for them to maneuver within the bathroom in order to make sure that they get themselves completely clean. So the smart bathroom takes into consideration the patient or person's location within that confined area, and make sure that based on simple gestures, the water will be uh, uh, passed on to the required portion, parts, okay, so that the patient is given a clean bath. Okay, so these are some of the, in fact, there are many more I couldn't share the lack of time. Our students have also developed advanced drones that are completely autonomous in nature. You just have to give them the what you call waypoints for it to cover for a given field. So this is mainly used, designed for agriculture, precision agriculture, where you give the waypoints. It starts from a location, takeoff point, and whatever waypoints you have given in your app, it goes to those areas and does the spraying of your pesticides and if required fertilizers also. So another important aspect that students have added is they have made it more precise in nature, that it doesn't spray the entire field, but what it does is it identifies where the pests are, right? And it only sprays to those locations. So it has got an multispectral camera which does the task for them. Okay, and right now this drone is so powerful that they are also using it for COVID-19 spraying purposes also. Okay. So I guess that's it from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yes, sir. We have one query in chat box.
Okay.
Just I'm a nutrition and dietetic student. Can you please share some innovative tips which I can use in my field?
nutrition and dietitian. Means one innovation that is already, in fact, I wanted to add those other innovations also, but so there is one fork that is what you call invented, I would say. The reason I'm saying invented is because there is nothing like that that was existing earlier. Okay, so this fork is like a smart fork, which tells you how much calories you have taken. Okay, so it basically monitors your eating habits. Okay, and how many calories you have intake based. So it samples the food that you are eating. So this is very, very high tech. So this is one such product that is already there. Other things that we are also, in fact, our lab is trying to innovate is one smart solar dehydrator. So we want to make sure that, especially during this time, when there is scarcity of food items, right? Especially and when there is more abundant cultivation, right? So we want to make sure that we dehydrate those food items and have it ready during this critical time, right? So we are working on that, which will be based on totally solar energy, where we are drying the food items, okay? And we are also making sure that we are having automated packaging also, so that there is no any manual interference, and the goodness of the food or nutritional value is also preserved.
Yes, sir. One more query we have. Like, I have some idea. I don't know how to do it or how can I implement it. So the participant just wanted to know the procedure. How can we implement our idea?
Okay, so usually, means are they from our institute or are they from outside institute?
Outside, sir. Outside.
Acha, okay. So one thing I usually tell them is now every institute has some activity or some professor who is involved in this aspect. So I would advise them to go and talk to those faculty, and I'll also give you my contact details. If they feel okay, they can approach me also. I can also guide them out. So what needs to be done is, first, what is the problem that they have identified, and what is the solution they are trying to come up with it. Okay, so there are multiple criterias that we check it out to see that uh, it really qualifies for them to pursue. Okay, because that is very important, right? Because from our experience, we usually know what works, what doesn't work, right? So this is the initial help that we give to students in order to give them that confidence that yes, this is worth pursuing. You can invest your energy and time on it, right? That is very important, because that very rarely students get, that I have seen. Because many times they pursue something, and when they take it outside, right, they see that similar things are already available. That clarity we should be giving to students. If they need any assistance with that, I'm glad to help them out.
Yes, sir. So now we got here regarding slides and PPT. So I'm very happy to inform you that we are creating our own YouTube channel. So
Good.
you will get all the videos over there. So we will share all the videos. So I think this query will be solved. And regarding feedback link, today we have one more session in evening at 4:30. So after that, like yesterday, I'll share feedback link by 6 o'clock in our groups.
Okay.
So, are you doing any innovative design in satellite making? Yeah, we have to share this, sir. We have our own satellite club, so please share the information.
See, right now we are, see, here there is a, one thing we need to understand is that there is a restriction with regard to size and weight when it comes to satellite designing, right? So if you talk about the nano satellites, okay, the dimensions are fixed, the weight is fixed, right? So there is nothing much for us to add thereupon, okay? So one of the innovation things that we are looking at is the uh, having radiation effect checked on, okay, uh, when we are sending objects to space, how to monitor effectively the levels of pollution over a given altitude, right? And then one of the other important things that we are also looking at is how electronics that we are putting it into these satellites are working effectively, and in fact if we can make them much lighter where they don't need any battery, because usually one of the main weight and dimensions that is consumed is because of the battery itself. So we want to make sure that our electronics that we put in are more, what do you say, self-sustaining or working on energy harvesting aspect. Okay, so those are the things that we are seeing that we can include in our next satellite design.
Yeah, I hope we satisfied all the queries.
Good.
As of now. A very informative session, excellent session, informative session, sound interesting information. Thanks a lot, sir. We are getting very awesome feedback, and thanks a lot for spare your valuable time with us. Definitely, as faculty of SNIST, I'm really feel very proud that under your umbrella we did so many innovations, and really all the credits goes to you, because you started all the things, and the things are going in very right way. Recently, I'm very happy to share among all of you that recently we got our the smart pill dispenser approval from MHRD and AICT. Among thousands of team participated in that event, and only 60, I think 60 only, na sir? 60 they have
No,
shortlisted.
in fact, ours was the only one that got selected in the entire Telangana region. And out of thousands of prototypes that have participated in the competition, only 17 in the entire nation got selected, and we are one among them.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, sir. You have given very informative session, and thanks a lot again for sharing your valuable time with us. And I hope participants, you'll get some knowledge about why to innovate and innovation procedure as well. So regarding these recordings, we will share definitely in YouTube channel, and the link I'll share in our groups.
So one thing I would like to add here, madam, thanks to you, you are our key member in our Institute Innovation Council, and she is doing great job over there. Now what I see is over the time, especially in last 1.5 to 2 years, when we have taken up this aspect, everybody is sensitized about innovation, entrepreneurship, and everybody is actively involved, and they really want to see that something comes out of them also. Okay, in their day-to-day practices or in helping students, I see that there is a drastic change in approach of everybody, all of you. So I thank you. So this is not one person's job, it is contribution from all of you. As they say, it takes an entire village to raise a child. So like that, if there is innovation has to happen, it has to come from everybody, not just one institute, but entire nation.
Yes, yes, definitely, sir.
Thank you.
Again, I'm thanking you. Thanks to all the participants to join the session, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Today again, we have one more session at 4:30. I'll share the link now only. So we'll start at 4:30 as we have started today, and we finished on time. I'm very happy following the time, because yesterday we started a bit late, and I felt very bad yesterday. So I hope you all are satisfied today, and we are following the same schedule, whatever we have given in next 4 days. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. Thanks a lot. We need your help all the time.
Certainly, always.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. So with this, I'm going to end the meeting. Thank you all for joining the session. I'm sharing a next talk link in our group. Thank you all.
Thank you.